Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to make that bang bang call 100%.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders, your go to podcast for all things baseball. Should Red Sox fans be panicking about Rafael Devers and what early surprises should be paying attention to? I'm Almar and I have Armando next to me, and let's talk baseball.
Well, the wait is over. Baseball season is upon us. And let's go with around the bases with this week's news.
Around the bases.
Omar, let's start with some injuries to the season already. Obviously, we don't like to hear this, but we have two injuries. Jose Ramirez from the Guardians has a wrist injury. He's on a day-to-day. And Diamondbacks left-handed pitcher Jordan Montgomery to have season-ending Tommy John surgery. This is both. Well, one of them is lost. Which one would you like to talk about first?
We'll talk about Jordan Montgomery because it was last week that it got announced that Jordan Montgomery is going to Tommy John surgery. Montgomery will miss the entire 2025 season recovering from this Tommy John surgery, like you mentioned, Armando. Tommy John surgery is no guarantee. We all know that some pitchers bounce back stronger while others struggle to regain their form. For Montgomery Armando, this raises major questions about his next contract.
Yep.
He was hoping for a long term back then, but now he may have to settle for short term incentive laden contract while rehabbing. It's brutal. It's a brutal reminder of how unpredictable pitching can be and why teams are often hesitant to hand out big deals to arms with heavy workloads.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is just a blow for Jordan. This is his second time having Tommy John surgery. The last one was in 2018, and he made comments when he confirmed that he was out for the season 2 days before the season started. He said he hasn't recovered well since the last time he had it. Like you said, it's no guaranteed. Some pitchers bounce back better than they were throwing before, and some of them it's a longer term. And unfortunately for Jordan, it's one of those things. And it showed last year. Um, at one point, he was a dominant pitcher, but last year he's on the decline. It could be because of uh, his elbow, but last year in his first seasons with the Arizona Diamondbacks, he went 8-7 with a 6.23 ERA in 25 starts, in 25 games, um, with with the Diamondbacks, and that's just like that's not good. That's not good numbers. Something's completely something's wrong with them, and hopefully, a lot of pitchers now these days, if there's anything mechanically wrong, they just prefer having the surgery so they can come back stronger. And hopefully that's the case with him. And for Jose Ramirez, obviously he's on a day-to-day, but if it's 1 week or 4 to 6 weeks um, injury for Ramirez, that's no good. Like he's the all-star. Um, he is the team. He's the one that he's a horse for the team. And like I said in our predictions episode, I think that he's one of those. The team will go as far as he goes, and yeah, he's one of those players that you follow every day, every game, just because he knows he does every. He's so consistently, and yeah, this is a big blow for them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Losing Ramirez for any amount of time is a massive setback for the Guardians. He's not just the heart, like you said, he's not just the heart of the lineup, but also the leader in the clubhouse,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Uh, yeah, if he misses a certain amount of time, this is a massive blow. Cleveland now faces a tough decision. Do they look internally for a replacement or do they explore trade options? I know it's early in the season, but you gotta think about this if it's a long-term injury,
Oh
right?
yeah, because it's like they're saying day to day, but like what is that? What is that? Like is that a 10-day IL, 14, 30-day, right? 60 days. So it's kind of you have to make some plans, right? Do they have somebody? Obviously, you can't replace his production, but do you look internally or you start picking up players from the waivers, right?
Yeah, and we mentioned this last week that they traded Jimenez, they traded Naylor, so their batting lineup is thin right now. So hopefully Ramirez is okay and he can come back soon
Yeah,
to help this squad,
and
right?
it's one of those things, and it just happens when you are tending to steal second base, right? Like it's like you can jam your fingers, your pinky, or or your wrist. In Ramirez's case, it's a it's an injury. I'm not sure if he was wearing a glove protection, but even with so, like obviously he twisted it with a second base bag, right? So, but we'll follow day to day and keep everybody informed with his injury, and hopefully he can return to the lineup sooner than later. And other news, of course, like you mentioned, it we don't want to freak out. It's only been the first weekend of baseball, 4 games on the books, right? So I keep reminding myself, I was like, oh, let's not freak out. There's plenty of more, right? But one thing it should be concerning. Uh, the Dodgers, I think they're a little concerned right now. So Roki Sasaki made his second uh, start for the Dodgers, and it did not look good. He only lasted one and a uh, two-thirds inning. He he had no control uh, on the strike zone. He walked 4 batters, 62 pitches under 2 innings pitched, and he got pulled. What's your thoughts? Is this one of those cases like, oh, it's the beginning of the season, let's not panic, or should the Dodgers and the Dodgers fans be panicking right now?
Again, to everyone, it's not a Dodgers podcast. But but let's be real here, Armando. Sasaki has some of the nastiest stuff in baseball. We mentioned that
Yeah,
his fastball touches triple digits, his splitter is devastating, and his command in Japan was elite. But like you mentioned, he somehow some most of the time he's erratic out there. But the transition to MLB isn't always smooth.
no, it's
And
not.
right now and right now he's learning that the hard way. Whether it's adjusting to the bigger baseball field, dealing with tighter strike zones, or simply facing better hitters on a nightly basis, Sasaki is going through growing pains, and we saw that on the video when he was pulled early. He was teary eyed.
Yeah, you can see that
This is
pressure.
a young
You feel the
this is
pressure. Yeah.
yeah, this is a young kid, 23 years old. We've seen this before with pitchers making the jump from Japan. There's an adjustment period. Even you, Darvish and Shohei, had to make tweaks on early on. The main key here, Armando, is for Sasaki will be adapting to MLB hitters, right? Fine tuning his pitch sequencing and maybe even working with the Dodgers coaching staff to adjust his mechanics. Whatever it takes. Good thing this Dodgers Dodgers lineup can smash the ball and they kept winning,
Oh
or
yeah,
else
they're 5-0.
or else
They're 5-0 right now.
or else you'll be in a heavy microscope right now, right?
Oh my God. But I think you're right. I think you're right. There's some pressure that he's feeling right now, and I can say the same thing for Juan Soto. Uh, the pressure living up to the contract is already you're already seeing effect. And right now with Rokas, he's having to live up to those expectations, signing with the Dodgers. You can feel that pressure already, right? So I do agree with you, but I also this was part of the game plan for Roki and his team. They wanted, when they were courting other teams, they wanted a Japanese players to be on the team to help him. And this is why he chose the Dodgers, because he had already two Japanese pitchers that can help him or you carry him, right? So it's kind of like, can you imagine if he chose another team, he was struggling and not having that support from like fellow countrymen? So it would have been a lot worse. And right now he's gonna lean on Sohei, he's gonna lean on the other Japanese player, and hopefully, obviously I don't. There's no bitterness. Yeah, it's the Dodgers, but at the same time, it sucks to see that happening to any pitcher or any player in any sports without all that emotion and heart, right? So it's hard. You can see that it's hurting him.
Yeah, a good thing that you mentioned about wanting to have a Japanese players around him, but also his managers before everything before he signed with the Dodgers, they mentioned he wanted Roki
Mhm.
on a smaller market so that he's not on the spotlight like
Yes,
the
exactly.
Dodgers spotlight, right? And he is right now, but hopefully Yamamoto and Shohei can help him out
Right.
with his struggles right now because he's still a young kid. He has a lot of talent, right? Dodgers or not, Dodgers or not. I know we hate Dodgers, right? But
I do.
we not, we want to see good pictures.
Exactly. We
Um,
want to go,
yeah, so
but I do have to agree with you. This is a scouting report on Roki. His that was always been his knock. He walks a lot of batters. Even in Japan, he walks a lot of batters. So right now, this is a more patient Major League Baseball batters he's facing. So like, if he's throwing wild pitches or not pitching in the strike zone, a patient batter, he was just like, well, I'm just gonna make him throw strikes, and if he's out of control, well, he's gonna be walking a lot, like you're seeing already.
yeah, this major league batters will let you come to them, not the
Exactly,
other way around, right?
exactly. So it's a different game, and he's learning on the flies. But hopefully, yeah, like you said, like he can lean on his fellow countryman. So perfect. Well, that is it around the bases. Let's go with our next segment. Let's We're gonna be covering four topics of the what stood out to us in the first weekend of the opening day weekend. Omar, I'm gonna start it off. One of the things that stood out to me what is the Washington Nationals. Not a good start to the season, and on the opening day of the season, he Gore, the starting pitcher, went 6 innings, only one walk, 13 Ks, and it was one of those historic pitching performances for the Washington Nationals. And guess what? The bullpen gives up the lead, and they lose in extra innings to the Phillies. That's a tough blow too. Like when you have your opening day starter go out there and everybody's excited about the season, and you collapse that way as a team. That is awful. And then the following day they get blown out by the Phillies again. 11. It seems a lot. It doesn't seem as much as bad, but at one point it was like the score doesn't reflect like it says they lost the second game 11-6, but at one point it was pretty bad. It was like 8-0. Like it was pretty bad, and that's not a good start. That bullpen for the Nationals is they're at 17 as a team, as a pitching staff in 4 games. So that's not looking good for any pitching.
Yeah, game one when I saw that pitching line for that starter, I think you mentioned
Yeah,
13 Ks, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I thought they would have won that game against the
yeah.
Phillies,
It's
right?
like-
Against the Phillies, I was like, oh, that's remarkable against a potent Phillies lineup. And then I saw the back score after. I was like, how can you lose that game?
yeah. So no, it was not good. And that stands out to me, like kind of like just losing that way. So after a pitching performance like that, it's like, oh man, that's not a good way to the season. To my second my second kind of storyline from the opening weekend of baseball, it's just the quality starts from the starting pitchers. I'm just not seeing it there. Like I was excited to see some dominant performance, right? You want the spring training for the starting pitchers to go a couple innings, three, four, five, kind of work yourself, and then when you get to the season, you hit the 6, 7 inning mark, right? Like it's kind of like, but this weekend, none of there was not a lot of pitchers. Gossman have threw 6 innings. This um, Valdez from Houston threw 7 innings, but when you look at the other started all the stars of the game like Paul Skeens or Scoville, they went under five innings. Chris Sales 5 innings. Ruby Ray 5 innings. Max Fried like 5 innings. So it's just like a lot of the. I was hoping to see some dominant performance to start the season, and it seems just like too cautious with starting pitchers, more concentrated on quality starts, and it's like, can we just have some? Can we can we have some good pitchers throw out their 6, 7 innings, right? Like at least that's what I grew up, right? And like the people before me, they were used to seeing um, starting pitchers go 8, 9 innings, right? So like the game has changed now, like, and it's I think there's a concern about there's a concern about starting pitchers, and we're seeing it right now. So
I like that you mentioned quality starts, and we mentioned on our previous
yeah,
episodes quality starts right now it's like 5 innings.
yeah, exactly. No, it's kind of they're not even starters no more. They're just long relievers at this point.
A good thing you mentioned Gosman because you'll love my Blue Jays update with with how horrible our starting pitchers are.
Yeah. So
But yeah, like yeah, I've seen that they're really cautious. When the team is stretching these pitchers in the spring training, giving them six innings pitches, and then you come opening day, you're just giving them like 5 innings. Well, what is that about?
I know it's just not even like the opening day for Thursday night. Like you have the defending the Dodgers, with the home opening celebrating the World Series, versus the Tigers with one of the young faces of the league in schoolboy, and Blake Snells is opening the um. He's the home opening starter, because the Dodgers opened the season in Japan. But like you would think there will be a great two former Cy Young Award winners going toe to toe, and both of them just like 5 innings, and it's just like, oh, like I thought we were gonna have a great pitching match, but it's
But that's normal for Blake Snell, right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't go
Well,
long.
that's just normal for him, right? But that's crazy. So, anyways, that's what stood out to me. So, and there's just a lot of more pitchers out there like Jack Fleury, like as well from the Tigers, only going 5 innings as well, right? So, anyways, that's what I stood out to me.
Yeah, for myself, folks, we're diving into something that has Red Sox fans scratching their heads. Maybe myself. Rafael Devers is off to an absolute brutal start at the plate, and the question is, should Boston be panicking already? Devers, one of the best pure hitters. We mentioned this Armando in our earlier episodes. Has started the season 0 for 16 with a staggering 12 strikeouts. Yes, you heard that right. 0 for 16. A
Um,
guy who's supposed to be the anchor of this Red Sox lineup has been, well, a black hole offensively. And that's not an exaggeration, Armando.
oh, it's not.
We know yeah. We know slumps happen. Baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. But this isn't just a slow start, Armando. This is something else. Now some people are pointing to his transition. We mentioned this from third base to full time DH. Is that affecting him? Maybe, but let's be real here, Armando. This isn't some silent protest where he's saying, "Oh, you took me off third base. Fine, I just won't hit. I just won't hit." Right? I don't think that's Devers. So that being said, going from playing the field every day to just focusing on hitting is a big adjustment.
No, it is.
For
Yeah.
some players, yeah, but should it make a guy look completely lost out there at the plate? Not usually. What concerns me the most is Devers struggled to close out 2024 season. His numbers dipped. His
Mhm.
power wasn't as consistent, and
Right.
his approach looked off. And now we are at the start of 2025, and he's struggling. So is this just as bad few games, or are we looking at something bigger? This is where I get a little nervous, Armando. We haven't heard about any injuries, but is Devers really healthy? Because let's be honest, when a guy this talented suddenly looks this bad, you have to wonder if there's something physical going on, right?
Well, you didn't forget he did have two walks in the series in the
And an
opening.
RBI, and an RBI.
Okay, like those. As long as you get on base in my books. No, no, this is not good. This is not a good start to the season for anybody. And actually, Diverse is he's at the wrong side of history. He becomes the first major league ball player to open the season in 4 games to have 12 strikeouts. That is the first time, and also he became the first major league base player in 3 games to strike out 8 times. So that is the wrong side of the of history. But let's just like we said earlier in the podcast, this is the first 4 games out of 162 games. There is plenty of correction that can happen. Let's not forget a couple of players who are all stars who had the similar opening day to the season. Brent Rooker last year from the Athletics, he struck out 11 times to open the season. Uh, Ronald Acuna Jr. in 2020, same thing, and also Minnesota's player Buxton also in 2017 opened the season with 11 strikeouts. So it's it's been done before, and those players have turned their careers around. This is just the first thing, but I did when we in our episodes, the earlier episode from the spring training, I did say one of the worst moves was this move from the Boston Red Sox, signing Alex Bregman to play third base. I thought that late into the season, when you already had a all-star as um, player in diverse, why you were in that case you were just inviting drama, and this is you were already seeing it happening. So, but and but it is true. There is even just for a full-time hitter, there is an adjustment, and I think we're seeing that.
Yeah, because if you're playing on the field, you're engaged on the game, right?
Yeah.
Instead now you're sitting at the bench waiting for your turn in the batting lineup. That will affect you some if you're not used to it, right?
Yeah, because like you can be struggling at the plate, but you could be doing helping the team win on the field, making a great play, or just helping the team win some other way. But now they took that away from Diverse, and he has to concentrate on batting. And if he's struggling, well, guess what? You have 9 innings to think about it constantly. At least you don't have that other players like, oh, I can't concentrate so much on that mistake. I have to move on to the next play. He Diverse doesn't have that, so it's going to be interesting how they move forward.
Yeah, hopefully he's not injured, like I mentioned.
Yeah,
No, nothing like that. Maybe it's just a mechanical tweak that he has to make. But you mentioned this, and I think George Springer mentioned this as well. You batters they adjust through spring training, and then when they come
yep,
opening day, opening week, I think opening month. They're still
Yep,
adjusting. So
exactly.
and like you mentioned, some of the players, all-star players, had struggles to open up the season, and they did okay. So hopefully, Diverse finds his hitting again.
Exactly. It's only 4 games. We'll see.
Yeah. So I know. Like it's not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and for my second one, we have a wild one here, Armando. You'll love this. Picture this: the New York Yankees, the team that always finds a way to be in the spotlight, have officially broken baseball with a torpedo bat. Yes, you heard that right. Jazz
Yep.
Chisholm is swinging what basically looks like a canoe oar, and somehow it's completely legal. So, reports out there that Yankees studied this and discovered that where he's making the contact with the baseball, and it could benefit him. So, a wider bat surface, and according to MLB rules, as long as the bat's diameter doesn't exceed 2.61 inches at its thickest part, it's totally legal. So the question is, what's next? We can use a hockey stick, a cricket bat, or are we going to see Aaron just step up to
The
the plate
golden
with a
bat.
tennis racket, right?
The golden batter rule.
So you gotta hand it to the Yankees, Armando. They've done it again. Every team is out here trying to master launch angles and exit velocities, and New York is just like that. What if we made the bat bigger? And guess what? It's working, right?
Oh,
Through the first 3 games of the season, the Yankees have already hit 15 home runs, tying an MLB record. So it's working for them.
that's pretty impressive. I've been just watching all the home run highlights from this weekend. I was like, holy cow, that seems like a lot. It's like I didn't know they tied the record, but I was just like, holy cow, that's a lot. I think the most impressive thing on maybe someone should be checking the balls because on Saturday's game against former Yankee pitchers, the first 3 batters homer in the first 3 pitches. Like that's pretty crazy. Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Judge all homer back to back to back on 3 pitches.
Yeah, Cortez might be Cortez, Cortez might be shaving points right now.
That's pretty.
He was serving it.
When I was looking at the notification on my phone, this like, oh, they homer. Like I thought they homer just in the same game. I didn't realize they homer on the first 3 pitches of the game. So that's pretty impressive. It's first to say the least.
Yeah, the Yankees are out here swinging the bat right now. They're pretty mad, losing the World Series. So we better watch out now.
You know what? There's a different look to them. There seems like they're obviously 4 games, right? But it seems like they're playing with a chip on their shoulders. They judge his every time he just seems like he's focused. He's playing kind of like just kind of angry, ticked off by everything. And maybe that's why you need a little spark for losing the World Series, like the way the Yankees did. Maybe this is what they need, a little, just like a little kick in the butt, and they're just kind of like, I like it. I like their attitude. I like their, it's not a swagger. It's just kind of like angry, just plain angry. Like it kind of seems that way.
Yeah, losing in the World Series and then losing Soto in the
Yes.
process after. Then yeah, I can see that they're really pissed right now, and baseball world would need to watch out,
But
right?
even
So
like Goldsmith, like he was in the trading block for like the last couple of years, right? So like, and it was publicly known, and also quoted Bellinger like his off season, like no team was willing to give him a long contract. He had to sign out like 1 year with the Cubs and then sign a 1 year, gets traded, right? So like that's just a lot of chatter that those 2 players and now they have come to a new team and it seems like they're playing with a chip on the shoulder. So I kind of like it.
yeah, I like it, but not for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Once again, not a Yankee podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is it. Let's go into our Giants and Blue Jays updates and conversation.
Giants, Blue Jays.
For me, I'm gonna be talking about the Giants predictions, what I think they're gonna, um, what I'm just my prediction, the 2025 Giants, San Francisco Giants, and I think this team it is better from last year. There's a lot of noise saying that they have the same team. That is not true. We have Uh, well used to organization Chapman. He's been here for a year now. Willie Adames, right? So it's kind of like Nick and Matt opened the season for the Giants last year as the shortstop, right? So like and having his struggles at the bat. So it was not really. This is not the same lineup. Young Ho Lee had a injury season ending shoulder injury for he only played 1 month. Like let's talk about the 1 month that he was done, right? So he in a sense he's still getting used to the major league baseball, right? So this is not the same team. This is a new team, but I think this is still going to be there's going to be a lot of close games and it's not going to be good for my heart for my heart rate. But there's going to be a lot of pain and I see this as a team like the 1986 Giants, the 2008 Giants, where there's just a lot of young talent building up for the future. And I think this is happening. So I think the Giants are going to be, they're going to be, they're going to improve by 5, 6 games. Last year they won 79 games. It was the disappointment of the season last season. The last 3 years, they've been around the 80 win. I think that they're going to improve, but they're going to be more exciting, if you can say that. I see the Giants finishing at 85 wins. I think they're going to be competing against for that third wild card. But it's as we talked last week, there's a lot of teams in the bubble, and you might say like, oh, 85 wins, but there's could be like 3, 4 teams that you have to jump over to get to the wild card spot, and that's just the reality. Like I'm not because in our own division, in order to make the playoffs, you have to be coming second in the West after the Dodgers, and I just don't see the Giants lineup does not compete against the Padres or the Diamondbacks. For them to just leapfrog over two teams in our own division, it's going to be tough. And then we're talking about the like last week's episodes of the National League predictions. So like we have the Milwaukee or the Reds, the Pirates, like the Braves or like the Mets in the like who are those? I those starting pitch and lineup is I like those lineups, those teams, other than the Mets, right? Because like why you heard me say, like I think the Mets will win eventually the third walk off spot. But when you compete, when you compare it against Logan Webb, who's still a young pitcher, 42-year-old Justin Verlander and Ravi Ray with in his tight pants, right? So it's like when you look at when you look at the lineup when you compare it against other teams' lineups, it's kind of like I don't think they the Giants have enough, right? And they don't have once again the Giants don't have the power hitter in the middle of the lineup that makes the other opposing teams fear them, and they don't just they're not going to be hitting over 200 home runs right, as a team, and I just don't they don't have the enough power to score a lot of runs to beat other teams. So that's just my prediction. Um, Thoughts on my predictions on the Giants?
But like, don't be so down on the Giants. You won the series. The the
Yeah,
Giants.
if the season ended
You're so
today,
down.
they will have a chance. to-
You're so down. You're so down on the Giants. The Giants did exactly what they needed to do. We mentioned this, and you said this right now. You have to get off to the right foot, and they did. Because if not, the Dodgers won five. They're 5-0. San Diego swept the four-game series against Atlanta
yes.
Braves. So if you fell down in the standings in the NL West, you it's hard to recover. And good thing the Giants won the series, so they somehow can keep up. And we know it's just the opening series, the opening week. We won't panic, but if you keep losing your series, then it adds up towards the end. So you have to keep winning 2-1, even split the series 2-2 if it's a four gamer. Just don't be swept 0-3 on the series. And your pitching staff looks good. It's just a matter of balancing it out with the old guys, with Verlander and the tight pants, Robbie Ray,
Yeah,
right? So,
he's still recovering
yeah,
from
but
his stomach joint, right? No,
don't
it's
be
not
so
being
down on your
down. I'm not
Giants.
being down. It's just the reality of where the Giants are at, right? So it's just the National League are a lot more competitive, and there's not a lot of room for error, right? So like in the National League with all those teams, so which is great, right? But I do have to say there's a huge. I've been talking about all spring training. There's a difference this year with Bussy running the show now. Uh, Oakland had Moneyball. They had Billy Bean Ball. We are entering a new era in the Bay Area with Buster Ball. Uh, right now we're seeing that effect on the team already. There's a lot of um, 2-0 counts or 3-1 counts, and batters are swinging. They have the green light to go after that. And guess what? Buster Posey was known for that in his career. He would have the green light in a 3-1 or 3-0 count. And he will have it, and you're seeing that already from a lot of players from the Giants.
Yeah, I like Buster Posey's approach, and like you mentioned, you have stability now with Adames as your shortstop, and you have the third baseman Chapman. So you have stability in the lineup. So it's good moving forward for the Giants, right?
I think it's just like with all the young pitchers that we have, all the young players in the outfield and even infield. I think there's they're taking the right steps finally. And right, JT Snow came on the radio this week, and he made a comment saying like you're seeing chemistry over talent. The last 5 6 years with the old regime, they were concentrating too much on numbers, talent, where to position players. They forgot how to chemistry of a locker room. Right now, this team has a chemistry. They're playing. They literally feel like they're enjoying everybody's. They're enjoying each other's presence, and it's something that we're not used to as a Giants players because they carry themselves as the Giants away. Willie Adames, Wilmer Flores hit a game-winning home run against the Reds to open the season. And when Flores hit the home run, Willie jumped over the railing. There's never been a Giants a player who's with that excitement over one home run in the opening day of the season, and he's jumping over, he's high fiving, going down the dugout, high fiving everybody. You don't. That's the more you see that a lot of in the American League East. Like the Blue Jays have the coat, like the jacket blazer,
The
right?
Giants,
And
yeah.
some other teams have the home run chain or whatever. Like that's not Giants. And for Willie Adaman to be like bringing that kind of passion to the team already, it was very funny to see it. And yeah, there's a chemistry in here, and sometimes chemistry. you might that could over that could overtake some talent sometimes. So well, I like this Busty Busty Posey's ball.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good though. Just don't be so down. You
No,
won the series. You won the
no, no,
series.
I'm just being realistic. There's a lot of teams, but I do have to say another note. Encarnacion, DH, the Giants. Everybody thought he was gonna um, he was going to start the season as the DH. He actually broke his. He has an injury in his arm, and he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So that's a bummer. But they kind of open up to other players to make the team, like Matos. Maybe Matos will be the full-time DH now. And switching up with Mike on the right field. But surprisingly, no one really thought about this, but Casey Smith made the opening day roster. He had a kind of great spring training, and he has made a couple of good hits already in this last 3 games. But it's kind of weird, like Casey Smith, no one really thought that he was gonna make the roster. He was kind of like forgotten man because he was the top Giants' top prospect for third base. They signed Chadman. They tried to last year with all the shortstop and second base and flaws that they had. They had him kind of playing both, and he was going to AAA and back and forth a lot in the last 2 seasons. But he made the roster, and good for him. Like he didn't complain once that they were bringing in players to take his position. He just worked hard, and he's getting rewarded by making the team.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for a young kid anyway. Just be professional
Yeah,
out there.
exactly,
You'll get your time. You'll get your time, and hopefully, when he gets a playing time, he can rig the ball again.
exactly. So, anyways, that is it for my prediction or my Giants update for this week.
All right. Welcome to your Blue Jays update, Armando. We didn't win the series, but we split it. So here,
500.
yeah, 500. Woo! Plan the parade. Here's the latest on Toronto's series against the Baltimore Orioles. Just a quick recap here. The Jays wrapped up, like I said, a 4 game set, and it was mixed bag results. Game one, it was a rough start for Blue Jays. Jose Barrios struggled on the mound. The long ball proved to be his downfall, surrendering 3 home runs in his outing. The Orioles bats were relentless out there, and the Jays fell hard. 12-2 loss there. So game two, the Jays bounced back in a big way. The offense came alive, putting up 8 runs on the board, and it was a much needed response after a tough loss in game one. So Toronto cruised to an 8-2 victory against the Orioles there to tie the series at one apiece. So for game three, we saw the start of Max Scherzer, but he only lasted 3 innings. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays pen couldn't hold it together, and the Orioles took advantage. The Jays fell 9-5 there. Game four, Toronto needed a strong performance to split this series, and Chris Bassett delivered. He went six solid innings, keeping the Orioles in check, and we saw the bullpen did its job. And we saw first Blue Jays save by their new closer Jeff Hoffman, and a solid
Nice.
way to end the series with this victory against the Orioles 3-1. So splitting a 4 game series against Baltimore isn't the worst outcome here, Armando. But the Jays will need more consistency moving forward, especially Barrios, the bullpens, and the emergence of Hoffman will be the key storylines to keep an eye on early on this season. Like I said, it was a mixed bag of results. We saw platinum glove second baseman Andres Jimenez flash some letters, but his offense was just as impressive. He now has two of the Jays' 3 home runs. We only have 3 home runs. Yankees have 15, and we only have three. but good to good to see that Jimenez is adding some power here in the lineup. Shortstop Bobichet looks like a man on a mission to start the season. After struggling at the plate last year and dealing with injuries, a strong start is exactly what the Blue Jays need from him. And Armando, before I ask your take about our Blue Jays take here, I mentioned this last week. The concerning issues on Max Scherzer's thumb, and what are the Jays going to do with him if he can only throw 50 pitches per outing because of his thumb? Now things have gone from bad to worse. Man Max has landed to on the IL due to thumb issues and lat soreness. I know he signed as a starting pitcher, Armando, but maybe it's time for him to swallow a little bit of his pride and work out from the pen, or at best, the Jays could use him as an opener. Opener, 2 3 innings in the start to start their innings, right? But again, you'll tax the bullpen. Who will pitch behind him, right? I would like to ask your take about Mad Max. I know he's a future first ballot Hall of Famer, but this Tom has been, he said this, quote unquote, it has been an issue since 2023. So if this becomes an issue, how would the Blue Jays go about this?
Well, that's not a good thing if it's an issue because he hasn't been pitching like Mad Max the last 2 seasons. So if he's saying it's an issue for the last 2 seasons, then well, it's not a good sign then. This is not a good sign if you're asking me. We dealt with this. He was not a late addition like Blake Snell's for the Giants, but it was still late enough, all right? So and it's not good because Blake Snell started the season, like having one. I think his second outing only lasted two innings, and then he went on a 15-day DIL, and the follow up like to a 30-day, and it was just like he didn't get to like mid season. He didn't start looking good until like June or late May, early June, and by that time, like the Giants were swimming like against the stream, right? It was like holy cow, which like I last season I was like, man, like the Giants need to be kind of like like survive this all this injuries that's happening. So this is not a good sign. Because it just puts a lot more pressure on the other starting pitchers because the bullpen is max out. Puts a lot more pressure on the bullpen, right? Because they feel like, well, now our we have to have relievers that are going 4 innings, which they get more tired. So it's not a good sign. So hopefully there's somebody in the AAA that had a good spring that he can get called up to eat some innings.
Yeah, like we mentioned, and good thing you said this because when Max Scherzer exited the game, and then now Chris Bassett has to eat up some innings,
Yeah.
right? Regardless of what type of outing he has. Good thing Chris Bassett answered the call and he had a great start. But if not, Blue Jays will be in trouble because, like we mentioned earlier on our earlier episodes, Blue Jays schedule is horrendous. It's the gauntlet. So to start the first 2 months here, so they would need everyone. But this Mad Max one, we're not making fun of Max Scherzer's
No.
injury, but everyone out there saying that Mad Max collecting pension right now because he's still getting paid by Nationals and Mets, and now Blue Jays is paying him 15 million sum to be in the IL, right? So, but hopefully Mad Max
But that's
can
Canadian dollar, right? So it's like
I
so
no
it's like
no
15 million
this
US.
no, this is the wrong perception. Pay everyone US dollars, so there's no conversion.
Oh man, he got a good contract then.
Yeah, it's 15 million and
No,
then
we're not
some.
making fun
So
of
no,
Susho. He's been well, some people call him like a pitching god, right? Like his resume speaks for himself, right? But at this point, we're talking about his injury. He's late in his early early 40s. That's when that's when you're that older, all the injuries starts rolling, right? Piling up. You don't heal as fast as you used to, right? So it's kind of like the injuries take longer as an older pitcher, so we're older player. So this is not a good sign. So hopefully we're wrong, but hopefully in your case, he's for the Blue Jays. Hopefully it just doesn't linger all season. And to me, uh, hopefully as an outsider, hopefully he takes his time coming. Uh, when he ever comes back, just come back healthy and ready to pitch. Because if you just coming back because you want to be out there, you want to be in the clubhouse, or that pressure that my team needs me, then you go out there and you get re-injured. It's not helping the team at that point.
Yeah, you re-injure yourself, and then it takes longer for you to recover. That's not a good plan right
Yeah.
now. So good thing they put Mad Max. Well, good thing the Jays put Mad Max on the IL instead of just waiting around. So yeah, hopefully Mad Max can heal up his thumb because it's affecting his shoulder, everything. So now it's the lat soreness. So hopefully he can come back and help this Blue Jays team because we were excited for his start. Like
Yeah, like
this is a first ballot Hall of Famer starting for the Blue Jays, and then you pull him, and then he got pulled 3 innings into the game, which actually sucks for the Blue Jays and Mad Max. So hopefully Mad Max can return quickly and healthier, like you mentioned.
yeah. So
And that's everything for the Blue Jays. Again, it's just a 4 game series, and we will welcome the Washington Nationals this week in Blue Jays, and then they go off the road to face the Mets, the Boston Red Sox, and again the Baltimore Orioles, all on the road. So good luck to the Blue Jays after this week.
well, perfect. Well, please follow us on a podcast. Please subscribe, and once again, we're gonna bring this season over and under segments, our curtain calls of the week segments, and plenty of more. So please follow us in the
Yeah,
2025 season.
yeah, well, we're gonna roll out our curtain calls for the week next week. So come follow us, like Armando said. It'll be a great season. Don't worry, Armando will be happier next week.
Please follow for my closer curtain call players. Once again, well, thank you for watching. All right, until next week.
We'll see you next week.